What's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ducks Dish podcast. I'm your host, Max Torres, publisher and lead editor of Ducks Digest, covering the Oregon Ducks for Sports Illustrated on Fan Nation. Big episode of the podcast today. I am joined today by 2022 Oregon offensive line signee Dave Iuli. How you living, man? Thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. I'm living good. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me here. I'm excited to get this going.
Definitely. I love bringing the commits and signees on and kind of getting to share a little bit of your guys' story with, the Oregon fan base and college football fans.
Yes, sir. Hey, the Eugene fans don't play. So that's why I'm excited. When you're hitting me up about the podcast, it's like, talking about, oh, yeah, I'd love to do a podcast about the Ducks, just let the people know out there. I was like, yeah, let's do it, man. Let the Eugene people know for sure.
Cool, man. Well, let's hop into it. Kind of want to try to hit on a couple different areas here, but to start, I want to dial it way back. Let's talk about just what your childhood was like. Growing up, what was that kind of like for you? Where are you from? The Washington area originally?
Yeah, no, I'm not from the Washington area. I'm actually from American Samoa. So I'm from American Samoa, and we moved out here in like around 2010, 2011, and we've been staying in Washington ever since. Staying around the Puyallup area. But my brother was out here first before all of us. He came out here for school and stuff. So he gave us an opportunity and stuff to come out here, and it was just awesome to come out here. And now, I had a huge opportunity in football, and I was here.
So we started in American Samoa. What was that like, man? I mean, I imagine it's got to be quite a bit different from out here. What was your childhood like growing up there?
Oh man, it was very different. I mean, it's the island life, and my family grew up around it. My mom, my dad, even my sister and stuff. And I'm the youngest in the family too. But the island life was definitely hard. It's not easy out there. Not much money and stuff like that. I used to go to a private school when I was young called Manumalo, and I used to be out there, and just all you'll wear, man, is kind of different from here. You wouldn't like wear shoes, stuff like that. You're gonna wear flip flops all day, And if you went to school and you had like cool sandals on, like the Jordan sandals, you'll be like seen as like the coolest guy in school. So you know what I mean. So like back then, it was just all about that. But definitely the island life wasn't easy. But we got a great opportunity to come here and stuff like that. But when I was a young kid, it was just a lot of chores, a lot of discipline, respect. Respect your parents, listen to your parents and your family members, and you'll grow up to be a fine soldier and a fine warrior.
You mentioned that the island life wasn't easy for you, Dave. How has that kind of helped mold you into the young man that you've become today, would you say?
Yes, sir. I think is huge for me. Like it created me as a man in huge in different ways. You know what I mean? Because I think what pushes me a lot more in football is my culture. Just talking about before when I go on the field and stuff like that, I listen to some of my Samoan music and things like that. So my culture is definitely one thing that supports me the most on the football field. But not only that, just like motivates me. Keeps that confidence going for me. But overall, my culture is my heart and my pride, man. That's why I got this tattoo on me and stuff like that. I want to let the people know I'm a proud Samoan.
I feel like a lot of the Polynesian culture that's one of the characteristics I think I associate it the most with is pride. Why do you think what do you think makes Samoan people so proud of that culture, and why is that important to you?
Well, it starts off with our parents, but when growing up, there's a different understanding when being grown up as a Polynesian kid and being grown up as in the states. You know what I mean? Because for us, it was all about when you grow up, you be strong, you listen to your parents, but not only that, you see things that you need to pay attention to, that you learn from. But it was just all about respect. You know what I mean? I think it runs in all of the culture, pride that everyone has to be strong, represent the culture. That's what our people is back in the island, man. We're all strong. You know what I mean? We represent our culture well, and we fight through anything with our heart. You know what I mean? So that's just how it is for every Samoan. The culture thing is huge to us, man, especially family. That's a huge thing in the Samoan culture is just representing your family. That last name that you got on your back, that's what you got to represent. You know what I mean? Every Islander knows. That's why when you read another Islander's name, it's kind of hard to read and stuff. every islander name's different, their ancestors and stuff, and they're trying to represent. Make that last name huge, man.
The family aspect has been important for other Oregon athletes that we've seen come through Eugene. You look at the Sewell family; they're obviously very tight knit. Panay, when he
Yeah.
made it to the league, he was talking about giving back to his parents, and I'm
Yep.
sure that's kind of the same deal that Noah's hoping for once he wraps up his time here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when you were growing up on the islands, Dave, when did sports kind of get into the picture for you? What sports were you playing growing up?
Growing up, I didn't play any sports growing up, man. I think I was just a social active kid. That was about it, and I was just a huge kid. Coming in first grade through sixth grade and going up to just till now, I've been huge my whole life. You know what I mean? I've been that kid in class where it's just like, oh, he's the biggest kid in class. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll need a bigger desk. You know what I mean? Because so it happens sometimes, but yeah, man, that just coming through all those grades, I was just looked at as a huge player, and I used that towards football. You know what I mean? My parents, my brother, they started pursuing me. They started pushing me towards football. Go to practice, go to practice. And when I was young, I wasn't the greatest player, but that's why I kind of motivated off coming in freshman year. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you sounds like your family was kind of pushing you in that direction of football. When did
Yes,
that
sir.
kind of get into the picture for you? Because you said that you didn't really play sports very much growing up.
Yes, sir. I think around fifth grade when I was playing for it started off playing at Spanaway Spartans, and then after that I went to Rough Riders. I think Rough Riders is really when I noticed my talent, I could take it farther. Was we won the championships twice in a row, but that was just seventh and eighth grade. But that was just a huge thing, you know what I mean? And also playing with top guys and FBU football university. I got to travel a lot for all of that. Go to Texas, Florida, all that. So I got the overall experience, and that was the best thing about that journey was that you got to experience great things with great players, and that's what motivated other players too. So, but yeah, man, I think I just persuaded it because, I also love the game. I love the game. You know what I mean? Football is, you know, a lot of polys they make it there up there. So I started motivating off that too, and I just gotta do it for the culture, man. Do it for the fam.
Do it for the fam, yeah, man. I mean, so coming over to the states, I think you said that was around when you were 10 years old. Um,
Around like
or
7 or 8.
7. Okay,
Yes, sir.
7 or 8. Obviously that's still pretty early in your life, but I mean that's a
Yeah,
huge change, man. Just kind of
yeah.
take me through what that was like for you, and kind of getting adjusted out here. What that was like.
Getting it just out here. I mean, it wasn't pretty hard because the English part was that American Samoa. They talked a lot of English, so when I came out here, I didn't really had a problem with that. But overall, adjusting to it, talking about clothes wise, you know what I mean, coming out here, and my parents had to work and stuff like that. And my brother mostly took me to school and stuff like that. We just the whole life was different. You wouldn't walk to school, you'll drive to school. You know what I mean? So, but the life was definitely different from here and compared to the islands for sure.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the fashion being a difference.
Yeah,
What do you think was maybe the hardest thing for you to adjust to? Because you talked about it being kind of easy, but is there anything that you kind of
yeah.
think back to and you're like, man, that was quite a change for me?
I think it was making friends for me. I think it was coming into school. Yeah, man. I think because when I came to school, I was the biggest kid, man. Like I was a huge kid, so I think I kind of looked at as like a kid that was kind of like like would look like a bully, but wasn't. You know what I mean? But I think that was it. It was just like coming in a new place, and I had to make new friends and stuff like that. Just how every new kid is. And it was just like first grade. I got to meet, man. I still remember it was Miss Kirkendall. Miss Kirkendall, she was the best. She always gave me extra pizza and stuff like that, extra box juice and stuff. So she always snuck it in my bag and stuff. But but all that through that whole time, I think that's what kind of made me had to realize like that was the hardest. Yeah, that was the hardest part was making friends, man. Trying to meet new people for sure.
It makes sense. I think, when you look at a young kid coming from so far away, but I've never met you, Dave, but just by seeing you on social media and these other interviews, like you're just a super bubbly and
Sure.
energetic person. So like now I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like I could never picture that because you're always, out there, making friends and being a face in the community.
Yes, sir. Hey, well, I talked about it with Coach Lennon and all. and Coach Clem and stuff like that. We got to have somebody that come with that energy. You know what I mean? And coming with that energy, not only energy, but come with leadership. Not just like somebody who be talking, talking, talking. Yeah, jokes are fun at the end of the day, but at the same time, I kind of tie my energy into also with leadership. You know what I mean? Because people see the energy off the field. You know what I mean? They don't see the energy on the field. So that's also what I want people to see as well. But the energy is positive on the field. That's just how we got to keep it going. I was talking to Noah about it too. So
Well, I love getting a better picture of kind of who you are off the field, coming up as a young player. Want to talk now kind of about your recruitment a little bit and, talk about
yeah,
some football. So, with you, Dave, decided to open things back up after, the coaching shakeup. You
yep.
ended up going out to Miami for that visit with Mario and Alex Mirabal, who are your, top recruiters here. Just kind of take us inside there. What was that trip like to Miami when you went out there and got to, reunite with them for a bit?
I mean, the trip was awesome. Like Miami, without a doubt, like when they tell you Miami is a different place, it's a different world. You know what I mean? It's not even a different place, it's a different world. So, but when I went down there and I saw Coach Cristobal, Coach Salabaea, Coach Mirabal, all those guys, it was another place. It was kind of hard to explain, but the relationship was definitely there. You know what I mean? Like, there was no problem with that. We had the relationship and everything like that going. But overall, I just felt like Miami was at the end of the day, Miami was a awesome school. Especially with Coach Cristobal and stuff like that, because I had to make my decision to the last second. You know what I mean? I had to make my decision for the last second, and Miami was definitely up there for me. But overall, man, Miami trip was super fun. Not just fun, but just overall what they're building out there and what they got the program going out there. They're definitely building something great out there with Coach Cristobal as well. So much respect to him, man.
He's really developing a pretty strong staff, and they closed well in the
Ooh,
recruiting cycle as well. So you talked about the relationship being there. Let's kind of bring it back closer
yeah,
to home with the Ducks and your future coaching staff. The Ducks are kind of in a weird spot here because I think me personally, once I saw that they got you on campus out there in Miami, I was like, man, like I feel like he might not necessarily end up there, but obviously they had a really good shot with you. So
yeah.
when you look at uh, Dan Lanning and the Ducks, what was that kind of like? When they were getting the ball rolling with you, and what they were pitching to you.
Um, you know, when I came down here to Oregon, it was like it just felt like home again. You know what I mean? Like coming down to Oregon, Eugene, like they weren't joking about it when when you come down to Eugene, it feels like home. But overall, when I came down to the visit, man, Coach Lanning had that energy. They wasn't playing when they said Dan is the man. So Dan is really the man. He brought guys with him, and all the coaching staff that he's brought along with him and things like that. I feel like Coach Laney is going to change the program. You know what I mean? And we're just going to come stronger this year. And is I feel like there's no rebuild to be done. You know what I mean? We just had a high coach come from SEC level down to Pac-12 level. You know what I mean? And that's a huge factor. But also, we'll never know. We got to see. We just got to put in that work. Just work on the field, and just keep it going. But overall, Coach Dan, he's an awesome guy. I love Coach Dan.
A lot of praise for Oregon's new head coach. David, I think it was in your commitment video. We got to the shot of you out there on the field. I believe it was with Ben Roberts and Dan.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yep,
hitting
yes,
the
yes
hawk,
sir,
like doing the haka. I mean, just take me
yeah.
through like what a unique moment that was to have your head coach, doing the haka with you at midfield. I mean, that's got to be a pretty cool moment for you.
And also as a recruiter, man, not even just as a player yet. Like I'm just a recruiter, and at that time I was a recruiter, and now I'm a commitment. So I'm a so. But overall, going with Coach Lanning, man, Coach Lanning, I can't believe he did it, man. It took him a few tries. It took him a few tries, but Coach Dan, he got it down. Like I told him, look, when I said "Donna dicta," you said "dicta," just hit your chest. That's all you got to do. And he got it down like the third try, and it was awesome. And I think that was his first time ever doing that. I think he's never done it. So I told him, hey man. That's my welcome to you from the decks. So that's my welcome to you. So, but yeah, man, that was an awesome moment. He'll remember that for the rest of his life for sure.
I'm sure you'll remember it too, man. Seeing as it was, during that final visit out here to Eugene, we talked about how important the Polynesian culture is to you, but I'm kind of just interested in, I feel like Oregon as a university and as an athletic department has really embraced the Polynesian culture. You look at the
Yeah.
Ohana uniforms, the players that have come through the program, like the Sewells and Marcus. What's that kind of like to be recruited by a school that is really putting that forward? You got Tony Tuioti on the staff, and just having
Yeah.
these Polynesian connections.
The Polynesian connection is huge in Oregon. Like coming in, even Coach Dan Lanning, he was kind of a little surprised. He was talking to me about it, but that's what I loved about Oregon is that when I came and stuff like that, I had the time to spend around the boys and stuff like that, teammates and everything like that. All of them just felt like they could connect with me because I'm a poly too. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, we know we're all kind of raised up from the same teachings, same teachings, but just from different parents. So that's the way I saw it, and I love the Polynesian culture, man. And I feel like they're gonna come bigger this year with the Polynesian culture. You know what I mean? We're just gonna come bigger and bigger with the Polynesian culture. So it's just gonna get bigger and bigger from here, man.
Love to hear it, man. I love watching that, and there's definitely been a lot of talented players that have come through here, and you look like you're the next in line. We've talked about Dan the Man, as you called him,
Yes,
but I
sir.
wanted to talk about your position coach, Adrian Clem. Coming over
Yes,
from the Steelers, is obviously a guy who has some really good experience. As I throw some of your highlights here on for the YouTube channel. Um,
sir.
kind of bring it to life a little bit. But yeah, tell me about Adrian Clem because I haven't gotten to meet him personally and just see some YouTube videos here and there. What was your relationship like with him and kind of how you view him as a coach?
Man, Adrian Clem he's an awesome guy, first off. Like all these guys I'm saying on the list, even like I'm not saying no, I'm not joking. These guys are awesome guys. Coach Clem came with that energy too, but also I think with the thing with Coach Clem, he kept it real with me. You know what I mean? Like he kept it. He's a straightforward coach and also a super chill coach at the same time. He's that type of coach where you could just go into his office, hang out for a little bit, just talk to him, whatever you need and stuff like that. He will help you. You know what I mean? Anything you need. So Coach Clem was not only a helpful guy, but also a guy that I could see that I could run my schemes in. You know what I mean? I mean that I could work my abilities in his scheme. When he was breaking it down to me and he was like breaking down what he likes to do, what he likes to do on run plays, what he likes to do on pass plays, I just felt like I could fit that description. So but overall, Coach Clem is a great guy, man. Coming from Steelers and over that, I can see he's a guy that has top, he has top, like a guy that just knows everything overall, all around. You know what I mean about O line. So I love Coach Clem. I text him every single day.
When I watch your film, Dave, I feel like just I see you mauling guys whatever side of the ball you're on. You mentioned
Mhm.
how Coach Clem was kind of breaking it down for you and talking about how he maybe sees you fitting into his scheme. How do you kind
Yeah.
of describe your style and maybe your strengths as a lineman and how that'll translate to what he wants to do at Oregon?
Well, there's a lot of things that Coach Clem wants to do at Oregon, but I think overall, he said one is that he's not Coach Clem is a straight up player. He's going to tell you if you're not the best player in your skill position, you're not going to play. You know what I mean? If you don't know your job, you're not going to play. So, but overall about Coach Clem and the schemes that he runs, talking about his run plays and things like that, he's just overall a guy that wants to um have guys that make playmaking plays on the line. You know what I mean? Because they be saying playmaking plays, touchdowns, all that, but we make playmaking plays on the line too, and that's opening them gaps, getting it open, getting our running back a free lanes to get that touchdown, and that's just what we do. You know what I mean? But he said all this highlight tape. He loves my highlight tape and all that, but he said the tutorial's done. You know what I mean? Tutorial's done, and all that trucking and stuff is not going to happen. We're going to need to focus on technique, how to maul guys. Just more than like 5 yards than we need. You know what I mean? So coach, I already know Coach Clem is going to build me into a great player. He's already sending me stuff to work on my ability and just overall work on things I need to do. I got a handbook for it too. So overall, the handbook was pretty cool, and I love the handbook, so it helped me a lot as well.
Definitely a lot of talent along the offensive line already here in Eugene, Dave. With the entire line coming back except for George. For
Okay.
you as a player, when did you kind of, I don't know, like when did you ever have a moment, being an offensive lineman or defensive lineman, when you had that contact and you hit somebody and you're like, man, I could kind of get used to this. Where did that love for that contact and physicality come from somewhere?
Yeah, man, like it was about like having guys fear you. You know what I mean? And that's the same with Coach Clem. Coach Clem be saying the same thing. You want to be at a point, you want to be so physical at a point where a dude don't even want to touch you. You know what I mean? And but that's the way it is. Like football is gonna be always a physical sport, but overall, man, like I love hitting, but it's just at the end of the day, I think it's important for me to know a lot of technique as well and stuff like that. But yeah, man, mauling guys and hitting guys, head to head is just a great way of style. But definitely, I think on defense, I'm just a headhunter. Wherever that ball go, I'm going. You know what I mean? And if I find the guy with the ball, I'm gonna kill you. So but that's just how I am. But overall offensive line, I love offensive line because you can really like you get into a little one on one with somebody and stuff like that. Then it's just overall you and him the whole game. And that's when you really prove if you're that guy or not. So but that's what I love about it, man. I don't know which side, but I told coach wherever you're gonna put me, I'll make it work, coach. That's what I told him.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was one of the interesting notes in your commitment video. It said Dave Iuli O line / D line. Is that door kind of open for you to maybe play on the defensive line, or what was that conversation like?
Yeah, I'm definitely open on the playing O line and D line, man. If but coach said that's a lot, that's a lot. You know what I mean? But he on defense, he's talking about getting reps in and stuff like that. Just overall, get your reps in. We'll have guys switch in and out and things like that. And I told coach, hey man, I'll do it. You know what I mean? But wherever I fit in the best at for Oregon and what do I need to get done, I'll definitely do it. But I love that, man. Like the fact that they put that too. Like I thought they were just gonna put O line. I thought they were put O line, but they put defensive line and O line. So, but I told coach, hey man, if you need me to be a little headhunter, I'll be a headhunter.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, open to doing a little bit of everything. It sounds like you mentioned earlier in the podcast, Dave, how it's not a rebuild for the Ducks. I would agree with
Yeah,
you. I know I feel like the roster has been built to the point where there's definitely some pieces that you kind of want to add, but it feels like they're kind
yeah,
of in that reloading. Mario said when he left that the best roster, or sorry, the best football on the roster is still ahead of these guys. What
yeah.
do you feel like the direction of it? Sorry, let me rephrase that. My bad. I'll hit myself.
No, you good.
What direction do you think Oregon football is headed in? I think that's kind of a cool big picture question to dig into.
Um, I think Oregon, you can already see it. You know what I mean? You see it. NFTs, things are coming out. Oregon's just becoming bigger and bigger. And I feel like not only the money wise or talking about their facility wise or anything, the players are going to change the game, man. You know what I mean? If you just look at overall the defense that we have and the offense that we're about to build and things like that, we just want to change the game. But also that starts with how we put in that work. You know what I mean? Of how we practice and how we train. So but I'm definitely looking forward to the season. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about our first game here against, is it in Georgia? Our first game is against Georgia. So we have to, like we were talking about it that night. We were like, we have to come in and set a game changer, man. You know what I mean? We have to come in, destroy the what were they, national champs? They're national champs.
Mm-hmm.
So we just got to come in, make a word, tell SEC, hey, Pac-12 could stick with you too. You know what I mean? We just got to send a message out there, and that's what we want to do, man. So that first game is all about that first game.
Looking to send a message, in his true freshman season, talking with Oregon signee Dave Iuli. Dave, we mentioned
Sure.
that you said you want to show that Oregon can stick in any game, and I think we definitely saw that last year when they went into Columbus. I was at that game, and it was just crazy to see all of it because Flo wasn't able to go,
Yeah,
Thibodeau wasn't able to go. A lot of people didn't give the Ducks a chance, but they pulled it out. We
yeah,
when we look at the history of Oregon football, people are quick to knock them. No national championships. I'm sure you've heard it a million times.
yeah,
Um, but I feel like Oregon's history is innovation and just, being game changers and doing new things.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that? And, I'm sure you're excited to join a school like that.
I think Oregon is coming in with a great team, and we're gonna come in with something that it don't even got to be this season. I feel like in these next two seasons that we're coming in next year and stuff like that, or 2 years after, we're these next years coming in. I feel like we're gonna change the game. You know what I mean? But talking about everyone that's talking about national title, all that. Oh, you don't got a national title? Well, we could just prove him wrong. You know what I mean? We couldn't even get a national title. That was our first year last year. You know what I mean? Like Pac-12, we got two. We got two Pac-12, but that was just in our conference. Like I don't even think we could have went out there and played Bama at that time, right?
Yeah, you're talking about last season?
Yeah, yeah, I'm talking about like 2 seasons ago and stuff like that. We could. It was just strictly our conference, Pac-12 conference. So hey, so you know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean?
I think, are you saying they just have to get it done in the Pac-12 and then to get to the playoff?
No, what I mean is like if you look at Oregon's history, we done it. Like we beat the Pac-12 conference. You know what I mean? So we're only that's already the step that we took. Even though Coach Cristobal and them took it and stuff like that, but I feel like the program is just going to be bigger. But that's one step that we already took. So what's another step that we could take that's bigger, like Big Five, Big Ten, or something like that? If we could go out there and win against those people this year, or even get a national title, those are huge steps. You know what I mean? And coming in next year, we just got to do better. If it's Big Five this year, then let's make it Big Ten next year. Let's make it national titles next year. You know what I mean? So it's all about improvement, man. Like all the history stuff is over with. You know what I mean? That's Pac-12. That was Pac-12 conference. It's a new era. I call it a new era because this is like teams combined. Like when have you ever seen the Ducks play Georgia first game? Come on now, man. You know what I mean? So it's definitely like things are changing, and it's going to be a new era, especially with all these new coaching staff and stuff like that. Coach Mirabal going down there to Miami, and USC coming, USC having Coach Riley and stuff like that. So it's a new era, man. So we got to see how it goes, and we're just going to see these next upcoming seasons. This season, we're going to see who's going to be dialed in for these next coming up years.
Now I see what you mean. Yeah, the Ducks have proven that they can dominate in the Pac-12, and that
Yep.
win over Ohio State was a big step, and now you're looking to put yourself on that same level as these SEC programs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just a couple more for you, Dave. Then we'll get you out of here. Kind of just wanted to ask, what's next for you as far as these upcoming months. When are you going to get to Eugene, and are you playing any other sports in high school?
I'm not playing any other sports in high school. I'm just strictly focused on football right now and just focused on technique because I was gonna leave in March, but now I'm gonna leave during fall practice and stuff like that. But I'm gonna go check out the March camps and stuff like that and see how it is. And but yeah, man, I think overall for the football season, yeah, man, we doing good. We doing good. Can you remind me of your question again? I kind of got lost in.
No, you're cool, man. I was just asking when are you
Yeah.
going to be out to Eugene, and then it's just if you were playing any other sports right now.
Oh yeah, okay. So I'm not playing any other sports in Eugene. I'm gonna come back out in Eugene in March time because I'm gonna see my family. My family wants to come out there and see because when I took my visit, it was only me that came down there. You know what I mean? So it was just me that came down there, and then my family didn't come to see. So yeah,
All right. Well, kind of a cool way to end the interview, Dave. We talked about Oregon fans getting to know you a little bit
yes sir.
better. Do you have a message for the Oregon faithful that are excited to see you strap up those pads on Saturdays?
Okay, man, to the Eugene fans, be ready. You know what I mean? Dave Iuli, Straw High Vita is coming through the building, man. Straw High Vita is coming, man. So, but I just want to let the Eugene fans know, we're coming with excitement. This new group that's coming in, the 2022 class, we are gonna do great things. You know what I mean? The relationship and bond that we have and everything like that, the chemistry that we have is awesome. And we're making sure we're still having that chemistry until we come in and we're excited for y'all. And I know the Eugene crowd is gonna be huge this year, man. Because I was out there for the basketball game and they were listening to Coach Lanning. It was awesome. So the Eugene fan base is crazy. And I just want to let y'all know I'm coming out with a straw hat pretty soon. Straw Hat Vita's coming out with a Dutch straw hat. Please tune in, okay? I'm gonna try to have a different variety of colors because my idea is to make sure you have a customized straw hat that represents you. That represents you. Not we don't that still has a duck logo on it, but it represents you and your type of design. But yeah, just want to let y'all duck fans well. Please support me in that, and let's get it going. Let's get the whole straw hat industry, Eugene and that straw hat industry, man.
And the straw hat is definitely a unique, I think, aspect, with your character and your swag, Dave. So I love to hear that. Before I
Yes,
get you
sir.
out of here, man, wanted to give you a chance to plug any social medias or where people can find more of you before we get out of here.
But yeah, so if you want to know more about me and ask more questions, go follow my brother, bro Ray. He's on Twitter. If you just type in Ray Iuli, he'll be there. And also my sister. My sister is Irva Iuli. So those are two people that I keep in contact with, and also my other sister, Weenie Iuli. So I'll be tweeting them out and stuff like that, especially when we go out on our visits. I just want to also let all the Eugene fans know that's like one thing I want to let them know is that those are like the closest people that know things about me. And if you guys have any more questions or stuff, if you guys don't want to shoot it out to me and you think it's kind of weird, you could shoot out to them and ask them and they'll be cool with it. So but I'll definitely be tweeting that out soon.
All right, where can people find you on Twitter, Instagram, all those good things, Dave?
Oh, you find me on Twitter at Dave dot Iuli on Twitter and Instagram oos.vita. So yeah, tune in on those.
All right, there you have it. That is Oregon 2022 signee Dave Iuli. That'll do it for us on
Yes,
this
sir.
episode of the Ducks Dish podcast. Huge thank you to Dave for giving us so much of his time today and giving us some insight into your story as an athlete and as an individual. That'll do it for us. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Yes, sir. School, baby.